Hey y'all, thank you for coming back. We're doing our the third pairing with Petalmorphosis and Subversive City Beauty Sangria because my lips is dry. You see again that my face is not done. We're gonna do that, edit that out at the end. I'm gonna show you again, in case you missed the other ones, what both of these palettes look like. And every time I open Petalmorphosis, I'm just like... But I am having fun. What's the word I want to use? Is it fun? I am enjoying pairing it. That's the proper way to say it, and that's really how I feel. Because I was curious about it and what I could do with it, and so that's what this Petal Plus series is all about. Y'all, my under eyes are not looking too horrible today, but my mustache area is still as disrespectful as ever. But yeah, so that was my purpose in getting it. I was very curious, excuse me. Girl, what is wrong with you? I don't know. If I knew I could fix it. I'm tripping. I was curious to see, why am I saying curious funny? Curious. I was curious, y'all. I don't know what's happening. I was curious to see what I could do with it, and that's what this Petal Plus series is about, is what I can do with it. And I realized today I could have cheated because this will be the third time that we paired both of these palettes. And I remember saying when I did the first look, I said we're going to aim for 3 pairings with Petalmorphosis and Subversive. This is the third one. Our live stream tomorrow, today already is the 12th. It's like almost 1 a.m. Yeah, y'all, nocturnal life is way different than non-nocturnal life. And so I thought maybe if I don't do this one, because when we pair it in the live stream, that'll be the third look. That'll be the 4th time, y'all. The look that aired today, I just hit myself in the face with this palette. My look that aired on the 11th, on Sunday, that was my favorite look with this palette so far. And again, that was my second pairing with Subversive. And I did do 1 look each eye with Petalmorphosis, and I was just like, yeah. So I don't even know what to say. But so we're just going to jump in. So we're using the Fenty primer, of course. I have out the same brushes that I had out yesterday. I did put back this one. I put this one back home because it doesn't do what I wanted to do, because as I had showed y'all yesterday, as it gets longer, I love this angle, but this part just lacks structure. And so when I'm trying to do anything other than feather out, it's not going to really go. But it is a good brush though, and it has its purpose. They all have their purpose and their place. So, I didn't do my brows. I meant to do my brows before I came on here. Yesterday my brows was jacked up and I thought they looked good, but then watching the video I'm like, ew. So I'm gonna try and be quick with the brows for those of you who want to see how I do my brows. If you don't, I know people skip anyway, but you know, and I do hope that everyone stays. But if you want to skip this part, I understand. And so I do the tails first, try to get them the same. And I do think my tails are more the same than in here, because when you see this one stops here and this one stops in here, and this one is straight out and this one curves, and so the shapes are completely different. And so when you see me with my brows done and it's like, oh my gosh, like one is here, one is there, that's how they naturally are. And I do try to get them the same, and sometimes they look the same to me until I watch the video, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is horrible. Yes, I don't know. And then I will kind of fill this in a little bit. I'll create a line that comes out, so you see how this is straight, and then I'll come to where the arch is or would be, and I draw a line straight down, and then I try to put it into a V to connect it. And then I look back and forth to see, are they somewhat the same? Are they stopping in the same place? That type of thing. And then, so you see this hook up here and this hook up here. And then I will just come along my natural brow hairline and attach it to the hook. And I'll do the same on the other side. And so I am faking an arch because it didn't go up that high. And then I'll come back and just lightly connect it. And you see how this one is not connected to where my brow is, and we're going to fill that in. And so when I do this side, I try to look to see where that is, because this one does come more straight, whereas this one is curved. And so I do try to make a point to have this one come straight. And so, yes, but it's I don't know if it's the angle I'm sitting at or just what my eye sees, but I'll look at this and be like, okay, now look in the mirror back here and be like, okay, they're kind of in the same place, but then they seldom are. And sometimes I don't try much to get them to be symmetrical because they're not anyway. And sometimes the more I try, the worse it gets. And you'll see even down here, like this is way back here and this is here. And so I do try to put it where at least it may somewhat kind of look the same. And one of the things they taught us in the class, which is something I did already, is to trace out the brows first and not just straight, just go fill them in, unless the person already has really full brows and they just may need to be brushed up and brushed over, and they may not need to be filled in, drawn on, all of that stuff. So this is the shape that we have. And so even looking at them, this side looks further in, but what I've realized for me is when I try to fill this straight, like how this one goes straight, this side usually ends up further in than this side, which is so, and this side is further in, but it curves. And so even looking at my brows, you'll see that there's hair right here, but this side there is none. And so like I'm really just making up stuff to try to make it look the same. And it's been a labor of love. And so when people shave like all of their brow hair off, I'm just like, how do they do their brows? Because at least I feel like I have a starting point, because there is some hair like from here in. Where the toes are, there is no hair. So this is completely just made up over here. But I find it fascinating. The stencils I have do help a lot, but most people's brows, I haven't seen anyone, well, very few people whose brows are symmetrical, where they start, where they're stopped. The shape is either straight or, you know, curved. Very few people is it like that. And even among professional makeup artists, when I look at people, like when I really look, their clients' brows are not even either. But the thing for me is trying to get it to look natural. And that's one thing my tutor said when I was in the program. She said, I love how the way you do brows, it always looks natural. So even if they're not symmetrical, even if the shapes are not the same, it looks natural, because that's how it really is. And I know there's a thing in BeautyTube, you know, perfect brows, you know, you draw them on and then you conceal under here, conceal up here, you carve them out. It looks pretty, but it's not natural. Nobody's brows naturally look like that. And so I do prefer a more natural look, because I still want to look like me, just a little more polished. And I want my clients to still look like them, and for people to see them like, oh my gosh, like your brows, who did that? Like, why? And again, even though it looks really nice, but if it's not natural looking, I'm like, okay, I missed the mark, unless they really say, okay, can you block off my brows or whatever, you know what I mean? And I have had no one say, can you block off my brows? If anything, they're like, wow, this looks nice. And so it goes into accepting our features. And so on that note, see, now this one is further in, but it is kind of straight and is wider than this side. And so I will bring the line out just a tiny bit, a little bit at a time. So that brings us to the intro. And so I think this looks okay, but then when I watch it back, I'm making this thicker at the top. Well, wider, I should say, because this side is definitely wider. And we're going to make it a little bit wider down here. So that brings us to the intro. Hello again and welcome. My name is Dion. I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube. The crazy, just knowing it's okay to be your authentic self. The troll part, I think this side is further in, but I feel like if I keep messing up, well, not messing up, if I keep messing with this one, it's still not going to be symmetrical. The crazy is knowing it's okay to be your authentic self. So you see where we're filling in where there's no hair. And being yourself in a world where people would say, don't do this, don't do that, or you should do this, or you should do that. I'm here to tell you, just be who you are and love yourself for it. It is very freeing. The troll part of the crazy troll nation is not caring too much. We're going to leave it like this, because if I do more, it's just going to look worse. As you're watching videos, you'll hear, you must do this, or you must use that, you must use this brand, this technique, this tool. And I'm here to tell you, use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on the way that you are satisfied with it. The bottom line here at the Crazy Troll Nation is self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Because I did brush them up, I see some thin areas down here, so we're just going to go back with this. And usually I don't brush them up and brush them over because my brow hair is not this thick. And the more of this pencil I put on, the more unnatural it looks. Like this looks laminated. There's no hair from here to here. And so I do try to not go too dark because then it looks more and more laminated. Yeah, so here we believe in self-acceptance and self-love, embracing our natural features. Yeah, I did that part. Enhancing if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Here on this channel, we believe in self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your features. Why do I keep saying the same thing? Where the hell am I in my intro? Oh, Lord. Loving yourself, embracing your natural features. Yo, this is nuts. Because you want to, never feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. That was the end that I was trying to get to, and I kept throwing myself off because I kept talking about my brows. We do that a lot here. We just be saying stuff. And so I hope that resonates with you. Love yourself for who you are and how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. And try not to not feel put together if you don't have on a certain thing. I've heard people say, I don't feel put together unless I have on mascara. I don't feel put together unless, you know, I have on, you know, lipstick or lip gloss. You're perfect the way you are, y'all. Just accept it. Just accept it. And if you want to do all the things, do all the things, but not because you feel like you have to or because you're not put together. And so that's the motto here. That's what we stand for over here. And I apologize that that came out very convoluted because my brain is going in different places. I'm like, let's do the intro while I'm showing you how I do my brows. If you've been here, you know this about me, and I thank you for accepting me for it. I don't, you know, when I watch videos and they're talking about, you know, your content and scripting, and I do think that may be more for, like, if you're doing podcasts or whatever, because I'm like, I just come over here and I talk to you like I'm just sitting down talking to you, and I do like that feeling, and some of you have told me that you appreciate that I just talk, like we're just sitting around chit-chatting. That was the Fenty, of course. This is Paint Pot and Groundwork. Y'all, look at this dip in here. I am really enjoying using this over top of the Fenty. And I do believe it makes me moving eyeshadow easier, like my removal process, but I could just be making that up. I don't know what we're going to do with this palette. I did look at the first look I did, and I think we did, I want to say we did that in a live stream, because we were trying to do dark to light, inward, outward, but it didn't come out that way because the greens, they blended into each other, and so it looked different than what I imagined it was going to be. And so it turned out to just be a dark look, and so it really wasn't dark to light. The whole thing was just kind of dark. So that was the first pairing we did. My favorite pairing was the one that aired Sunday. Happy belated Mother's Day if you didn't see my post. To all of you who are mothers and who are mother figures to somebody, and as women, I think there's a point in our life where we are a mother figure to somebody. Excuse me, I don't have children, but I used to work with adolescents. I used to work with teenagers, and so, you know, they would tell me, Happy Mother's Day, Miss D, and I'm like, I'm not your mama, but oh, thank you. But, and I would say that in a joking way, but I did realize that, you know, when you're trying to help someone else out, whether it's through your job or just in life, like you are, you know, a mother figure, an authority figure to certain people. And also a shout out to single fathers, because they're pulling double duty, you know, as mom and dad. And so happy Mother's Day to y'all too. So I really still don't know what we're going to do. I'm looking at these palettes. I don't want to do what I did yesterday, but part of me wants to put Gigabyte first and then put Astro Eden Envy because of how they showed up yesterday, but I don't want the looks to be the same, and I don't think they will be if I don't put, what did I put first? Yeah, I put Astro Eden Envy first, and so I don't want to do like the same type of look, and so, but I also want to do a look that I really think I'm going to like, but the purpose is just to use these and to see what we're going to do with them. And I will call out the names as I use them, like I did for the previous look. So I'm looking at both of these palettes. Petalmorphosis does not inspire me at all. But again, I do want to see how much I can do with it. And so I don't mind using it. And it is interesting using it. But it's a struggle, because when I look at it, even in conjunction with another palette to pair, like I'm looks are not coming to me. Like sometimes I look at a palette, I'm like, oh yeah, this quad would be nice, and these put this. I don't see none of that with this. So that's what makes it challenging for me. And so getting the look that I got yesterday, which was a lot of, oh, let's just put this here and see what happens. And I'm like, wow, this look is bomb. So we're going to take Cosmic Fantasies. We're going to do that. And then we're going to put Night Creature next to it. Because they were similar but not identical. But I did like how they looked together. But then I also want to use... I want to use Nocturnal Bloom, but I used that lower lash line yesterday. I mean, I don't know, because I'm just looking at this and I'm just like, I don't... Alright, so Cosmic Fantasies. Because I do want to do a different look than the one before. So here we go. Cosmic Fantasies from Petalmorphosis. And we are going to put, which I love, Night Creature from Subversive. I was thinking of how, like, to me, when I say the word love, it sounds funny to me when I say it. It's like love or love. And I was just thinking about that. That's why I hesitated before I said subversive, because I was thinking, like, why does it always sound weird to me the way I say that word? And I hear it when I say that as part of the intro. You know, love yourself for who you are, or love. And I'm just like, it just sounds weird to me the way I say it. And I don't know if you guys notice it, but for me, I'm just like, girl, where you from? I had somebody years ago ask me where I was from, because she was trying to place my accent, which changes depending on how alert I am, how awake I am, that type of thing. And I remember saying to her, now we're going to take Night Creature from Subversive, because I am from Southern New Jersey, born and raised in Camden, across the bridge from Philadelphia. Now, CDs, yeah. The one from Petalmorphosis, the first one we put on, is a tad lighter, but when you put it next to Night Creature, it blends into the same shade. And I do love how Night Creature looks. And I spent some time in Long Island, New York, and then I moved to Central Islip in New York. And so sometime that comes out. I used to spend time in Queens, the Queens Hempstead area. I used to spend time in Brooklyn. So sometimes that comes out. When I was in Job Corps way back in the day, that was in upstate New York. And that accent comes out like when I'm tired, because I'm lazy. And how I explained it to the other person was my tongue gets lazy. And I remember when I would come home on breaks, my mom would be like, can you stop dropping the G's off your words? Can you stop saying this way? And I'm like, what? And I realized that's what it is. It's like if I'm not paying attention, or if I'm just hype about something, or if I'm really tired, my tongue gets lazy. And so that accent will kind of come out. And not that it's a lazy accent, but just not being careful to enunciate, that type of thing. And so that was interesting to me. Now we're going to take, I don't know, I forgot to mention yesterday, Black Mirror always gives me a ton of fallout. And because I was feathering, it was like a lot of fallout. But then I did my face last, and so that was okay. I do prefer to do my face first. Now we're going to put this away because it's angled, and I already did the inner corner. I want to take Blitz Amethyst, the purplish shade from Subversive. And so I think that's, well, not think, but that's why I sound different sometimes, or from other times, or the way I say certain words is because of all the different places that I've lived. And I was in Texas for a little while. So sometimes I'll say something and be like, girl, you sound like you from the sticks. Like, what are you, what are you saying? Because that don't even sound really like a word. And I do know I do make up words here. This is nice. Y'all, Subversive is it. Like, I'm just like, I like how here it blend. Well, I don't like here how it blends in, but I like when you turn, it's just like, oh, okay. And I'm trying to think of what to put outer corner. Do I want to put Nocturnal Bloom over there? We're going to do it just to see if it looks right, because that is a cool tone shade, and these are not. Cosmic Fantasies is cool tone, but next to Night Creature, it leans warm. Or maybe it's a neutral shade. I don't know. Y'all know I have trouble describing colors, and so undertones and stuff falls into that. So I like that right there. So we're just going to see. We're going to see. And we're going to take the Esom. It is not Esom. I always want to say Esom because it starts with an E. This is the E49 from Sigma. We're going to take Nocturnal Bloom. So this will be 2 shades from each palette. And we're going to see what this looks like over here. And I'm using this because I am going to feather it out some. I do like this for feathering out, but it's usually like after I've packed on the shadow. I'm still trying to learn the best way for me to wing shadow. Bestie does it all the time, like every look, that's just what she does. And there's other people too that always wing their shadow, but I'm still learning like what is the best way for me to wing it. And having this puff here, that doesn't like help. Like Grace's eye shape and my eye shape are completely different, and so even when I look at how she's doing hers, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't, I can't, I don't know. And and it looks like a shader brush, and she'll start here and feather up and then connect it down here, and I'm just like, but then because I have all this puff and then the lines, I'm just like, okay. But yeah, I'm trying. I'll be watching different people trying to learn. Because I do like how it looks when it's winged out. It's just getting it the way I like it, and being aware enough of what I'm doing for it to be consistent, for every look, and not just, one time as a fluke, it looked really nice, and then the other times I did it, it was like, girl, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? And that's the me thing, and I do know that. Okay, so we're going to talk about tariffs briefly, because 47 just does not care, or he really just doesn't get it. I've seen some news snippets when they ask him stuff, and he's like, oh, I don't know, you should ask this person. Oh, I don't know, you should ask that person. It's like, dude, you're the friggin' president. Like, how you don't know this stuff? Oh, I've heard of that, but I haven't looked into it. What is your damn job as president? Like, what are you doing besides making up stuff and lying about other stuff? The thing about dock workers and truckers and port workers losing shifts because shipments are either not coming in because of the tariffs. Now this shape is almost the same, because we still have, remember yesterday I said, my wrinkles are my guide. My wrinkles are here and the shadow is up here. It's like that on both sides. And right now I'm trying to see, is it like the same distance? And it's not. This side comes out a little further. So we're going to just put a little bit more, and hopefully this won't like change the shape or anything. So I do think, I just brought it up further and made a point. Let's bring this in like right here. And so one of his news presses things, or whatever they call it, when one of the news persons said, well, what do you think about, the ports, no ships coming in today, dock workers, truckers losing, shifts. And his response was, oh, well, that's great, because that means we're saving money. No, he said that means we're making more money. And I'm like, okay, if you got dock workers and truckers and port workers losing shifts, that means they're losing money. So what are you saying that means we're making money? What? And I'm just like, do you even hear yourself, dude? People are not having enough shifts, which means their paycheck is going to be lighter. They're making less money, and you're saying it's great that shipments aren't coming in because we're making more money. Like, who's the we here? This side is higher up, it has a point, and this side doesn't. And this is what happened yesterday. I don't want to keep messing with it. And so what do you think about that? Like, do you think he really just doesn't understand, or do you think he just flat out doesn't care? Because that's the thing. Because sometimes I think he just doesn't understand, but then sometimes I think he just flat out doesn't care. But the way he is, sometimes I really do think like he just doesn't get it. And so let me know what you think about that. I'm gonna leave this like it is. I do love this shape, which I usually do love the shape on this side. I do want it to look more the same, but I don't want to keep messing with it. So we're just feathering down here a little bit more. So what do y'all think about that? I also see comments from people that are like, oh, you know, I'll deal with tariffs when they happen, when taxes happen. I'm not concerned about it. And I'm like, you must be wealthy, because if you really don't think it's an issue. And I showed y'all in my, well, not showed y'all, but I did a post. Plex went up $3 since I last purchased it. And so what is that from? $3. It was $4, now it's $7. It was $3.97 and now it's $6.97. So from $4 just about to $7, that's a $3 increase. And so what do you think is causing that? And some people are saying they think it's overblown and hyped up in the media. And I'm like, okay, you must have somebody grocery shop for you, or wherever you go, that you haven't noticed prices are going up. Like, I don't get it. And then maybe they're wealthy, and then, you know, I don't know. But I'm just like, how is it being overblown? And yes, I do understand that a lot of news channels, and I don't watch a lot of panels on the news, like when they have 4 people and the news host is asking different questions, because I can form my own opinion, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to sit here and listen to like 4 different people's opinions. I can form my own. Just give me the facts and let me, you know, ruminate on that for a little bit. But and I do believe this side is more blown out in the sense that it's faded, like right here, like how I blended it out, where this kind of just stops. But we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it because we can clean that up with concealer and all that. And we did do that yesterday's look. So now we are, what are we going to take? And actually the space between my eyeshadow and brows is kind of the same. And so I don't think I even need like this brush, but we're going to use this one. This is the Sigma E45, which I love. Oh, that'd be too dark. So this leaves us with, we're going to use Lunar Nectar. Yesterday we used Twilight Lilac. So we're going to put Lunar Nectar up here. And so I don't know if they're out of touch or if they just haven't shopped lately, but I'm just like, how do you say it's just overblown in the media? Like, they're exaggerating it. Like, what they're talking about, news that happens every day. So like, I don't know. And there's a thing where sometimes people do just want to remain blissfully ignorant. And I'm not saying they are ignorant. Some people just don't want to know. Like, tell me when it's over kind of thing. You know what I mean? And then that is a real thing. Some people are like, just tell me when it's over, because, you know, I'm not going to be going back and forth every day. And that's why I stopped watching newstainment. And when I do watch the news, it's just in little snippets. And MSNBC is good for that, because each clip that they show as a video, it is just like, it is very specific to the topic. And so I can tell that whenever they did this whole show, they just chopped it up into pieces. And I do appreciate that, because then you can title it for what it is, and I know exactly what it is I'm about to watch or what the topic is. And it's in short pieces, you know, 7 to 12 minutes or something like that. And so, you know, that keeps me from just like losing what little bit of marbles I got left. This way I can see the line of Blitz Amethyst, but when I go like this, I can't. And I'm okay with that. We're just gonna put a little bit more anyway, because this side looks more blended. When I say a little bit, like, look at that tiny bit on the brush. Like, I am using just a tiny bit. And so that's my thought about that, is I see it happening where I live. Usually when I order stuff. And what I wish is that companies would put tariff, like the cost of the tariffs on the thing. And some companies have started doing that. Amazon was going to, but then I think they said they weren't. But then they said some, for some stuff they were. I wish everybody would do that, because let us know up front, like, where is this extra money going? You know what I mean? We're going to take Skin Show Fever from Subversive. And so I think right now with wait a minute, what was this? Cosmic Fantasies, Nocturnal Bloom, Lunar Nectar, Night Creature, Blitz Amethyst, and now we're going to take Skin Show Fever. So that'll be 3 from each palette. I know I always say it's important to me to use the same amount, or at least try to use the same amount of shadows from each palette. Oh, I just love this little strip of lamb here. Another thing, a friend and I, we were chatting about, one of my wake ups, I watched Bestie's video and I caught her live stream too. And I was like, oh, y'all, she be getting some random, and I think maybe it's the day of the week and people have more time or something. Because this live was Sunday. And I be feeling bad. Like, people just be saying stuff and I'm like, but anyway, during another wake up, I was watching a video from Jen Love and she was talking about Wayne Goss and Paris Hilton's skincare line. And she showed Wayne's video because it was only like 3 minutes or 2 minutes or something like that, where he was saying, you know, he's leaving, he's resigning. And something that Jen said that had me like, She said he did not say he was leaving the company. He said he was resigning from his position in the company. He has 2 people that work with him. I guess partners, I guess you can say. They each have 25% stock. He has 50%. So if they wanted to come up against him, it's like, yo. And he did say quite a few times, you know, he cannot vouch for, and he has nothing to do with the quality of the products from here forward. So he's like, I don't have nothing to do with the creation process anymore. But so what Jen was saying was, he didn't say he was leaving the company. He was just resigning from that position. And I was like, like, that's interesting. I think right now, do we want to start the face? Yeah, we're going to start the face because yesterday we were going to add a video to that and then we didn't. Because I wanted to upload these linear. And so even in that video, I wasn't really thinking. And I was like, oh, you'll see the live stream before this. But then I uploaded it for Sunday because I wanted to do these linear. At least the ones with Subversive. And I was thinking like, if he, leaving his position, but not leaving the actual company. And so them 2, if they wanted to be against him, them together has 50% and he has 50%. And it made me think of Rihanna. She has 49% stock. Louis Vuitton, Louis Vuitton, they have 50%. So whatever happens, they have the final say. But I like that she's as hands-on as she is, and she is doing, I think, a wonderful job, says me using Fenty products, right? So I don't foresee like any problems. But then the Louis camp is a different beast than like having your own business and then you're taking on other partners or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so, but I was thinking though, like, what is he going to be doing for the company, or is it just a name thing? And because he did rename it from Wayne Goss Beauty, I think, to Goss Beauty or something like that. And so I don't know if he's just going to be like the namesake still. But I also was thinking it would be challenging for me, and I could hear the challenge in his voice, of working with the company, which is his company, and saying that you have nothing to do with quality control after a certain date because you're not in creative control or whatever. You're not making the products anymore. They're going to just be doing what they want to do. And for me, I was trying to imagine like how it would feel to still work in a company that has my name on it and know that the products may not be as good as they were because of the ingredients or the formulations. And I'm like, how would that feel? And so then I was thinking like, maybe there could have been a buyout. And of course, I don't know Wayne. I don't know what's going on, except, you know, what he said in his video. And then, but a lot of things that Jen said made sense though. It really did. And so I was thinking like, I don't know if I would be able to stay. And so then I'm thinking, what if they did a buyout and one of the conditions would be change the name of the company? You know what I mean? But I don't think they would go for that because it's still the name. And that's what people were drawn to in the first place. Oh, Wayne Goss, you know, this dude, this makeup artist, this guy, excuse me, and he has a huge following. He has a makeup company now. So I do believe a lot of people purchased his stuff and supported his stuff because of who he is. And I was thinking, okay, the brand is not going to want to give that up, right? And so, but I imagine that would be just really difficult working at a company that has your name on it and you don't have any say in the products that are, you know, being made. And I was just like, how's it going to work? But if he's really staying or not, like, I really don't know. But Jen did have some good, she said some things that really made me think, like, is he really staying at the company and just not in that position or what? And I would imagine he's still going to be with the company because he still has 50% share in the company, unless he becomes a silent investor. But then, like, he started that brand with his own money, so it's not like he's an investor. Like, he was the brand until he took on other people. And what this made me think about was, well, number one, I already mentioned Rihanna. Like, Louis did her right. They're letting her control things. If anything hits the fan, they do have majority vote, but things are going well for a company, so I don't see that at all. So it was makeup, then it was Fenty Savage lingerie, and more makeup, and then perfume, and now skincare. So, like, she y'all, I don't think Louis have any issue at all with what she's doing, because the money she makes, they make more, well, a little bit more because of the stocks, but it's only 1% more. But, you know, companies making money, they're not going to be upset. You know what I'm saying? But I also thought about this, right? We've known for years, those of us who think about things, and I'll just say it that way, because some people still say Pat McGrath is in control of Pat McGrath Labs, and I'm like, no, she ain't. Like, you could tell it's not. When she started taking on investors, that's when stuff started to change. And I was thinking, now some of you will get what I'm saying without me saying it, okay? What if Pat McGrath came out with a video like Wayne did and said, from this point on, I have nothing to do with the quality, I have nothing to do with production. What if, just imagine this, what if Pat McGrath did a video like that? There would be backlash like crazy, I think. And those of you, I think some of you know what I'm trying to say. So even though we knew, some of us really knew that we're like, she's not in control no more. Like, there is no way. There is no way. And someone said something to me that made a lot of sense. They said, anybody who takes over the company or that's in creative control of the company, they're not going to want to give up a black woman-owned title for the business. And that made sense to me. So that made me think, okay, whoever is in control probably is not a black woman. And it is a thing, because it's like Black History Month. Here are black brands that, you know, you should support. But we don't really know who is running the brand. So are we really supporting a black-owned brand? Are we really supporting a woman-owned brand? You know what I'm saying? But when that person said that to me, that made a lot of sense. And as far as a buyout, if they were to do that, which they're not, they wouldn't want to give that up. And if you're going to have all stock, meaning if you buy her out, you're not going to be able to claim this unless it really is a black woman that's in charge. And so that made sense to me. But I was like, what if Pat came out with a video like that? Can you imagine what people would be saying? Like, what garbage people would be saying? And y'all know what I'm saying. I ain't going to say no more. But I was just like, okay. But that's where we are with that. So what do y'all think about that? Because it would be hard for me to stay at a company when they're like just tearing up what I'm doing. And I am really excited for Pat that she's going to be creative director over at Louis. And that's very telling too, because there's no way you're going to be able to manage being creative director of 2 different brands and still doing your runway stuff, living your best life. Like, there ain't no way. So I am excited for her, and I'm happy for her because she is very creative. She's very innovative. And the brand is not anymore. This is the Fenty Cashew Powder. Y'all, I thought I was going to use this quicker than I was using the Fashion Fair, because that I was going through in like 4 or 5 months. I opened this. I have a label somewhere. I opened this on November 1st, 2024, and I am, I think, 2/3 of the way done. It's like up to here. And I thought I was going to go through it quicker because I have to use more of this to dry down my foundation than I did with the fashion fair. And so I thought I was going to use this up quicker than I am. And I'm ready to stop using it, and I'm ready to open my backup fashion fair. But if I open the backup fashion fair, I'm not going to use the Fenty anymore. And I don't want to waste my money. And it does work. Like here in videos, it looks good. It looks good. And if I'm going somewhere at night, it looks good. It's when it's daylight where it's like the color is just a little too red. And it is more noticeable, like, you know, this area. And you can still see it a little bit here. You know what I mean? Because this is actually, my skin looks really smooth. But it's a different color than here. And my face and my neck are different colors. But in the daytime when I wear this out, the color difference is more noticeable. And so, yeah, I am insistent on using it. And it is a good powder. I just like the fashion fair more because no matter how much I put on, even though the shade is truly tawny, it doesn't look like anything's on my face. But damn, this looks smooth. That looks really smooth. We're going to do eyeliner. I didn't take any out. Thank you for being here for me with this video. So let me know about that too. You know, Wayne, you know, what you think he's really doing. Like, is he staying? Is he going? He still has 50%. And if there's not a buyout, then yeah, I could see him still being there because you're going to want to see something because you know, I don't want to say you work there because he created the brand. This is Skip the Weight. We're going to put this on Inner Realms, and we're going to put Nudge Nudge Ink on lower lash line. And so I can see him staying, but I imagine it would be like extremely difficult to see your baby just being destroyed. And the friend I was chatting with was saying she wonders if they're going to use like less quality products and still keep the price the same, or price go up depending on where the ingredients are coming from. You know what I mean? And so I am glad that he did the video, because if the quality does change, which he really thinks it will, it's not gonna be like, oh my god, what did Wayne do? We know it's not Wayne. Whereas with Pat, it's just a lot of speculation. But those of us who pay attention, we're like, there is no way this lady is in control of this company and this is what they're doing. Like, there's just no way. And she's on runway, and now she's gonna be working over in the Louis camp. Like, there is no way. So if it was never clear to anyone that she was not in creative control, it should be clear now. And I still hear people say, and maybe it's by habit, they're like, oh, she needs to do this and she needs to do that. And I'm like, and sometimes I do yell at my TV. I'm like, she's not in control. Like, why are you saying what she needs to do? She is not in control. And so I don't know if people say those things out of habit or if they really believe that she's still in control. Like that, I don't know. I don't know. I would love to see, which I know it ain't going to happen over here, well, in the Pat camp. I would love to see her do something similar to the first 3 motherships. The first 6 were their own thing. The first 3, Subliminal, Sublime, Subversive, oh my gosh, those were so unique, and each one had its own story. Subliminal was like the cool tone palette. Subversive, you know, whatever that was. I do remember that Sublime was whatever it was. Subversive was the avant-garde palette. This one. And then she did Decadence. That was his own thing. Each one was very unique. And then came Bronze Seduction, which was like, okay, it's boring, but you know, it's different than all the rest of the motherships. And then was Midnight Sun, the grungy one. And then it was all the pinks and stuff after that. And now this is where we are. Do I need to say more? But so it's a lesson learned, because when you give shares to different people, and even if you're cool with somebody, business opportunity, you know, like I said, each one of the other two have 25%. Wayne has 50. So if they were to come together, they could outvote him depending on what else is going on. Or it could have been at a standstill, so maybe it was, let me just do a video that I'm not in control and just let them do what they do. Whereas like with Rihanna and Louis, Rihanna has 49%. So if it came down to it, they could push an issue because they have 51%. And I think it's like 50.1%, and like Rihanna has like 49.9%. So it's just like a slim margin, but it still gives the Louis camp an advantage because they have that sliver over her. You know what I'm saying? But also they're not messing with what she does, and she making money. She making money. They making money. Sometimes I want her to come out with eyeshadow again, but then sometimes I don't. I love the Moroccan Spice. I love that palette. The other stuff I didn't, her other eyeshadow I didn't care for too much. I never got the shimmer one that she had. And it was the packaging that got me. Like, it was just a circle, and then I was just like, I couldn't, yeah, I just wasn't able to rock with that. Lower lash line. Here's another thing. Lower lash line. Do we want to put Gigabyte on lower lash line? But we keep using Gigabyte. I could do anything I want to do, right? I could do Astral Eden Envy over here, since that's a deeper tone than Gigabyte, and put Gigabyte. That's what we're going to do. And I do have 2 of these brushes. Both of these are shimmers, so let me not use those brushes. And hopefully they won't flake up into my eye. We're going to take 2 of the Fenty 220 brushes. And I do really like some of her brushes. Well, actually, I think these are the only ones I have left from her. These are the only excuse me, and I got 4 of them. So, excuse me, Gigabyte. I'm going to put that here. Hopefully it doesn't flake up into my eye, which sometimes when I do lower lash line, it does. And that's just any shadow across the board. It may flick up into my eye. And so here's another thing, y'all. Let me know if you've seen those. I'm not on TikTok, but they've been playing them on YouTube because you can share your stuff, I'm assuming. And Chinese manufacturers, and this is not new. This is like 3 weeks old at this point, if not more. They've been coming out saying, your luxury bags are made in China. We make them here. And they even did a walkthrough of the factory saying, okay, this part is made here in the factory, then it goes over here and they do that. And this part over here is where they, make the zippers. And then this over here is where they assemble it. And then they send it to the brand that you're paying for the name. And they do the finishing touches. They may put the hardware on it and put their name on it. But the entire bag itself, the majority of it is made in China. And I'm glad that the Chinese manufacturers are doing that. Some people think it's not true. Some people are all up in arms and they're upset. But I'm glad that China did that, because there's this myth that anything out of China is cheap shit. And it's like, no, China makes some good stuff. Why you think dude is doing these tariffs for us to, well, for the industry to have a harder time getting Chinese stuff in? And think about, why does the United States make so little things all on its own? Because it's cheaper to outsource. And so the myth that everything out of China is like garbage and it's cheap shit, that is not true. So I am glad that they did that video. Now we're going to take Astral Eden Envy. And, people are funny, and not always in a ha-ha way. They were like, oh, and it's been videos of people like, oh, my bags are fake. That bag is the same bag you purchased, however long you purchased it. It's not a fake bag. It does have the name on it that you paid for, and that's what it really was. You're paying for a name. You were paying for a name, and the name is on the bag. The bag isn't fake. It was always made where it was made. And so, if anything, I would be embarrassed that I placed so much of my identity on a name, on an object. And some people do that, blah, blah, blah. I got this brand bag. I got this. I wear this, brand makeup. And we see that with makeup too. And so to find out that your luxury bag that you paid that name for, that is on the bag, was made in a country that's, the myth is everything that comes out of there is garbage. That should tell you that it's not. If they were making quote unquote luxury bags. And it's just kind of funny to me how, they're like, oh, these bags are fake, they're fake, they're fake. If anything, I would be embarrassed that I put my worth and my value in an object and then get mad because it's not made where I thought it was made. What do y'all think about that? Like, seriously. Because I'm just like, it's the same bag. It's not fake because it was primarily made in a different country than where you thought you were buying it from. You know what I mean? That doesn't make it fake. It's still the same exact friggin' bag. And one of the videos I saw, Chinese manufacturers, he broke down the cost. Okay, the cost for the leather for this, the cost for the zipper, the cost for the fabric that goes inside, the cost for the hardware. And it was maybe a tenth of the price that people pay for it. So if anything, I would have felt foolish. Like, for real. Like, I fell for this. But then, for me, it does, this eye started to tear. It does go back to, you're paying for the name and you got the name. So why be mad? Why be mad? Why place your value in an object? It's a friggin' bag. And I'm a Coach girl. This is a true story. I remember saying it way back. I'm going to just randomly pick a blush. This is Deep Level 9. And it was a nice bag. And I had purchased it. And I used to use it at work. Because I can put my laptop in there. Put folders in there. I can put workbooks to give to my clients in there. Like, it was a really nice bag. And it was a crossover. That bag. Because I used to shop down at the Coach outlet store. Because stuff is, 30 to 70% off. And I would always go to the back of the store where they have additional 40% off. And this one bag in particular I had, y'all, this bag was nice. Some other therapist from somewhere came in to our office for something. And she had the same exact bag. And I was like, oh, I said, that's just like mine. Look. And she was like, wow, it really is. I said, did you get yours down at the outlets? She went, no, I would never get my Coach bag from the outlet store. I get it from the Coach store in the mall. And I thought that was so silly. I said to her, because she had purchased it when it first came out. Y'all, that bag was almost $700. I paid like $3 something for it. So I paid like 60%, 50-60% less than what it costs full price at the Coach store. The Coach outlet store is still a Coach store. And I said to her, and by now it was out of season, because that's when I would get stuff, and that's when they mark them down even more. It's like a year after it came out or the season after it came out. And I said to her, I said, if me and you were walking down the street and we both had our bags, and because they are the same bag, they wouldn't know if you purchased yours full price on season or if I purchased mine out of season at the outlet store. And so I thought that was really silly. And of course, she didn't have a response. It's the same friggin' bag. But she was like, oh, I would never. Who's going to know next year that you got this bag at the outlet store? And she carried that bag a lot, which told me, because I would take different Coach bags. So her using that bag a lot, we haven't used it in a while. I was going to say a Random House Labs blush, but it's not random because I can't store these with the other ones because I store them in size order, and these are too small for that. Excuse me for the glare. So yesterday, or whenever, I think we used Fire Moon. This one is French Rosette. And I thought that was so silly because unless you're wealthy and you buy bags in season and you only use it for that season and then you store it in your closet never to be seen again, okay, that's one thing. But she used that bag. Every time I saw her, she had that bag. So that told me you don't just buy stuff in season and only use it during that season. Like, you're going to keep using what you buy. So that's what even made it more silly, because I'm just like, so you just spend the money just because, like, nobody's going to know if mine is out of season, yours in season, if we're both walking down the street the same. Golden Pyrite pulled it at random. And so, what do y'all think about that? Like, this luxury bag fiasco, or I don't even want to call it a fiasco because it is real, but it just highlights, I'll just say it. No shade to anybody. If this is you, this is not about you. I'm not saying this to you, but in my mind, it's shallow. If you're going to place your worth and your value into something that you buy, I think that's just really shallow. And honestly, I would be embarrassed to be like, oh, I bought this bag and it's fake because it was made in China. It's the same bag. I would be embarrassed. There's people doing videos showing like, 20, 30 bags. This is fake. This is fake. I would be embarrassed. I would be sitting there with my bags, not saying nothing to nobody. But what do y'all think about that though? I will tell you this. I don't know where that chair came from that I ordered from Temu. It was shipped by Amazon. Yo, that chair is the business. And everybody that sat in it was like, this is nice. I'm like, I know, right? The ring lights though, them shits are cheap as hell. But I was just like, we're going to use the black again for upper eyeliner. I don't know why I want to do that today, but we are. There's something puffed up in this eye. This eye is tearing. So what do y'all think about that? Like, do you think the luxury bags are fake because of where they have always been made? You know what I'm saying? Or is it just like, okay, people need to just admit that they put their value in a thing and they thought it was made somewhere and it wasn't. Like, to me, that's just foolish to be upset about that. Because your worth is not in an object. You know, you paid for that. So you're saying, I don't know. So let me know what you think about that. Where are we for time? Oh, y'all, this video is long. If you watched the whole thing, thank you. Because we're looking at almost an hour already. And we ain't edited out nothing. This is bleeding up here. So thank you for being here for this. Should I edit the rest of this out or just keep going? Because we're here now. Shave out 3 minutes of an hour video. And you will see this today in the morning because I wanted to do the Subversive ones linear, as I have mentioned. And I started not to do this one since we're doing one for the live tonight. So that'll be our fourth and last pairing with Subversive. We're just gonna leave that just like that. I say as I keep messing with it. Yeah, there was too much water on this brush. That's why that bled in here on the inside. Put it down and it just went. Psh. Thank you so much if you're still here. If you're still here, put a black heart for black eyeliner. Yeah, I need to hurry up because we've been here a long time. But what do y'all think about Wayne's statement? How you would feel working at a company, your company that you built from the ground up, and not having any say over the quality of the products after a certain point. How do you think, that's question number one. Number two, how do you think the industry would have responded if Pat McGrath had came out with a statement like that? And why do you think she's still there? I think it's because she's still getting money. I mean, if you got stock in it, you're still making money from it. Albeit a little less because people are buying less. This eye, there's something in this eye. And it is hurting. Every time I blink, I can feel it. And the third thing is, how do you feel about this luxury bag and people saying that they're fake? What do you think about that? Because as I said, in my mind, they paid for a name and they got the name. They didn't buy it based on where it was from. They bought it by the name, assuming where it was made or where it was not made. And I don't think people think about that. Like, I never thought about where my Coach bag came from. I just know it came from the outlet store. Like, I never thought about, okay, where is it actually manufactured? You know what I'm saying? But I also don't put my value in it. The two Coach bags, the two Val Duffel Coach bags that I still had in my Macari store, because I like stuff to be used, and people wanted to lowball me, like $50. Excuse me, I paid well over $100 for this bag. So like, no. And I wouldn't say that to them, but in my mind. And I still had the receipts for the bags, and so I know exactly how much I paid for each one of those bags. I ended up taking them out of my Macari store, and I gave them away. I gave one away to somebody for their birthday, a belated birthday gift. And the other one, it was a just because type thing. And they both are stylish. The people I gave them to are both stylish. And I knew that they were going to do these bags justice. They're going to use them. Because I'm like, the entire time they've been in my Macari store, they just been sitting in a box. And I'm like, that's a waste. And so they were both like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, you're really giving me this expensive luxury bag? I said, well, I got it at the outlet store, but yeah, it still cost me some money. And for me, that's irrelevant. The money's irrelevant. I want it to be used. Just like makeup. If I give it away, you know, I ask people, you know, would you like this? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. And I ask certain people for a reason. People I know that actually use their makeup. Like, I don't want to give it to somebody and it just sits somewhere, because for that, it could just sit here. You know what I'm saying? And so they both were very thankful. And I'm like, thank you for giving it a home and giving it a purpose. Like, for real. And they were just like, whew. I'm going to put on Kaboom, because I was watching, I don't even know her name, one of my wake ups. She had swatched all of her black lipsticks, and this was one of them. She did the glosses, and then the kind of hybrids, and then lip oils, and then her liquid lipsticks. I'm going to put this on. Should I line my lips first? Let's see how it shows up, because I don't remember this really being black. Oh, it is. Because usually I put it over a liquid lipstick. The Isamaya ones, whatever it is. I don't even know if they still sell it. That one is opaque. That one looks like a liquid lipstick. And I was just like, oh my word. And that's one I would get if it wasn't so expensive. So this is very much a gloss. It doesn't look black. Because this part of my lip down here is more pink than up here. You can see, yeah, it's not opaque at all. And actually, as it's settling in, I can see the lines in my lips. Look at my bottom lip. You can see the lines where this is gathering together. That I don't like. But I think it goes well with the... if anything, to me, it looks like it's playing off of these two reddish tone shades. I forget what they're called already. But it's playing off of that. This right here, this is my vibe. And this does look like something I could have done with just Subversive. And maybe that's why I'm digging it so much. So this is my second favorite. Yesterday's was my first favorite. I could have did all of this just with this. I do like the differences between Gigabyte and whatever that other shade is. But they need to be side by side to see the difference. Gigabyte is definitely more bold and it's brighter than the one from Petalmorphosis. That's this one on the outer corner. But I love how they play well together. These two again are two different shades, but they blend into the same shade. And I love how that blue comes out. This way, it's like, okay, that's cool, because it just looks like this reddish shade and then this green. But when you turn and then it fades off into the green, that blue fades into the green. Like, I really like that. And so we have one more pairing to do with Subversive, and that'll be in the live stream tonight. I don't like how you can see the lines in my lips. We're going to put on black lips. Is that what this is? No. Oh, this is chocolate chip from Nima Tang. This might work too, though. Do I want to try it? Yeah, let's just do it. Chocolate chip is a deep chocolate. And it is flowing over the gloss. I am curious about Fenty's lip oils, but not enough to purchase a full price. And I'm really still enjoying the City Beauty lip oils. And so I'm like, why mess up a good thing? Because like if I get it and I don't like it as much, it's going to end up in the trash. I am a liquid lipstick person. If you're a gloss person, where you do use different lip oils, are you interested in the Fenty ones? I like how this looks a little bit better. I'm going to have to clean this because this is all wet from the gloss. So we're going to take the gloss again. I was going to see where I put it. But we are going to wipe it off. And so we're just doing this to blend it in with the lip liner. I do like how this looks better. I still don't like you can see all the lines in my lips, particularly at the bottom. But I do like it better with the liner and blending it with the liner. So maybe one day I'll line and fill in my lips and then go in with the Gloss Bomb. Maybe I'll do that. And I know that's what they're doing with her lip liners. Morgan Turner did a short. She's like, can I get the Fenty, because she had a picture up of Rihanna. She said, can I get the Fenty lip that Rihanna did for that? And so she lined her lips and she put on, I think it was one of her glosses that are in the tube thing. So it's like a lipstick, but it's not. And she put that on and it looked really nice on her. And I don't remember if she put a gloss on top or not, but it was really pretty. So I know people do use 2-3 products on their lips. Usually I just do a liquid lipstick. Sometimes I line it, usually I don't. But this is the look that we have, y'all, over an hour. If you've been here the entire time, if you're hearing this part right now, put 2 black hearts. If when I said it earlier, put a black heart, just put 1. yeah, because I appreciate y'all for being here. The transformation, y'all, once I put on the foundation and everything, I'm just like, what? Girl, you looking good. So this is it. I'm not going to do pictures right now because we've been here long enough. I appreciate you for being here. If you've been here this long, thumbs up the video because you stayed for a reason, or you were multitasking and it was just playing in the background while you were vacuuming. I don't know. But stuff is popping up over here for you to watch. If you have time, continue to hang out. And if not, come back tonight for a live stream. And I appreciate you, and we will see each other soon.